She's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Jeanne Robertson, and I'm on my back porch again for the 30th weekend in a row. This is what we thought would be about 5 or 6 weeks, and the COVID would be over. We were wrong. And I have a special guest with me today called like you don't have a name.
Yeah.
That's a Southern. She's called Tara Brown, and she's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Yay, Tara.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, that's what they call me.
We have not had the first person who won, Karen Ruth White from Colorado, on the show, obviously that far away. But we've had Debbie Childers on the show, who won the second Jeanne Robertson Humor Contest. And now Tara Brown, who won, but you're going to claim it forever because we didn't have it this particular year.
I am the reigning and defending champion.
Okay.
So I'm not giving it up anytime soon.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have a very good time. Let me get a few logistics out of the way right away. We're going to have our thing that we started last week and just tried it to see how y'all like it. We had a throwback, something that I have explained many times, but the new people haven't heard. I mistakenly called it a throw up. That was an error. Y'all called us on it right away. Tony called me on it right away. But we've got a show and tell. We've got your questions, many for Tara, because she comes from a little different world than what I come from. I'm a humorist and have worked the convention market, and you came through the comedy circuit.
Yes, ma'am.
And I can't wait to hear how you did that. I wouldn't have done what you did.
Yeah.
She was in where? Brooklyn?
Yeah, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. And before we go on, I am from Brooklyn, but I'm raised by a Southern mama who taught me that you never come to someone's house without bringing them a gift. So I brought you a gift. I want to give to you. Okay.
Oh my gosh. What a nice way to start the
I
show.
hid it from you all yesterday.
It's a puppy.
What is it? What is
Okay, there's a
Godiva.
Yeah, there's a
Oh my
card in
gosh.
there. I don't know if
Oh my gosh. Well, this is nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Tony, you'll never see it. You'll never see it. Godiva chocolate. Oh my word. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I didn't know that.
I can't find it. I said
I'll
some
find it.
sweets for one of the sweetest women I know. So there's a card in there, but
I'm going to tell Left Brain.
Yeah, you know.
He won't believe that, but I'm going to tell it. Well, while we're talking about gifts, Godiva is slightly good chocolate. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
You
it.
have raised the bar for our guests.
There you go.
Well,
There you
they
go.
don't have to
That's
bring
what
one.
the reigning and defending champion of the Jeanne Robertson Humor
That's
Competition
right.
does.
Well, let me tell you about Nan Sharp.
Yes.
Nan is from Midlothian, Virginia, right outside of, Midlothian. Okay. Outside of Richmond. I didn't get that out of my mouth yet. But she sent me, y'all, let me show y'all what she made and sent me this week, because I know you're wondering, why does Jeanne have a big picture of herself right behind her? This is made out of beads, and when lights are on it, it sparkles like diamonds. And that's my picture. That's me. You got it, Patrick? I wish you could see the light sparkling. You can sort of see it a little bit. And what she did was,
That's awesome.
she spent a month, and there are 24,000 and maybe 4 or 5 more hundred little bitty tiny beads in here, different color beads, and the backs of the beads are flat. And then she sticks them on here, gets the picture made. And it's on a canvas. I think that's really nice, don't y'all? Godiva chocolate's nice too.
There you
but
go.
I thought
It's
that
no
was great.
picture with beads in it, but
You might need to turn your mic on a little bit better. Up. Hey, let me give this to you, Patrick, because if somebody stepped on this and out of this crowd, we don't ever know. But she made that, and she said that I could tell y'all that she is that my camera? She is 78 years old. And since I'm 77, right behind her, and after talking to you and listening to this, she said, "Do you judge that Jeanne Robertson's humor contest?" And I said, Well, there are 9 judges, and then they bring the finals in, and everybody makes the final decision. Why? And she said, well, I entered it a couple of years ago. And then she told me her story. So I just love that.
I love it.
So, y'all, this is a good example. You don't quit living when you get to be our age.
There you go.
But I thank you for doing that. The throwback story, the question that I want to answer for y'all today, more and more people have said, I have asked you over and over, how did you and Left Brain meet? And the truth is, that's the problem. There are maybe 1,000 questions that come in. I read all the questions and we try to sort them out, see how many people are asking the same thing. And if you wrote that particular question, you are not alone. So let me just review y'all. On the last tape, I tell the whole story. This is how I went out with him, because the main question was, did you know Left Brain was frugal and so left brain when you married him? And I didn't know what to call it, but I did. But Left Brain was a blind date set up by Bobby Boswell. Many of you know he's coached all around many places in North Carolina. And it was because he was tall and I was tall. And I was working at the swimming pool. I was going to the Miss North Carolina pageant later that summer and working at the pool. And he came up and said, I have a friend I want you to go out with. And I said, the most important thing, I said, how tall is he? And he said, he's 6'6". And he said he played basketball at Duke. That meant nothing to me. I was a student at Auburn. I didn't know anybody from Duke or anybody in our county that had gone there. But he said, then the next important question, do you play bridge? And I did play bridge, and so did Left Brain. And so we went on this first date. And I thought we were going out to eat. He said, let's go out to dinner. First of all, I said, well, I could go out this weekend. And he said, no, next weekend, because Jerry was going with somebody. Then when she went away to graduate school that summer, he quickly stepped out on her. That's not really true. They didn't have that kind of an arrangement. Don't say anything, Patrick. I see you picking up the microphone. But anyway, he didn't really take me to a restaurant, but we did go to Jim's Tasty Freeze. And got a 35-cent and a 45-cent. I got the 45-cent because I wanted cheese hamburgers. So that story is well explained, I think, on the last tape. But it was a blind date, probably because we were both tall and in town that summer. And he already had his master's, and then he later got a doctorate. He's a great guy. Tony, would you come here just a second and turn that picture around? When I opened the door on the blind date, I didn't see this face because this face is not smiling, but that was Jerry when he came for the first date and had that. What you remember? Everybody had the short hair, and then he had blue eyes, and he was 6 feet 6 inches tall, and therefore, and now of course he's known as Left Brain. Okay, thanks a lot. And now we'll move on. So before we start with Tara, I'm going to give away a prize. Tara, will you draw one out of this bag?
I sure will.
The prize, your choice of one of Patrick's CDs. It has 19 tracks on it. It's called Married Man. And or one of my your choice of one of my DVDs, or my new book, came out this summer, Don't Bungee Jump Naked, and other important stuff. So your choice, and who's the winner?
The winner is Miss Dorothy Adams from Flint, Michigan, who says, love you, Jeannie.
Okay, Flint, Michigan. There you go. Michigan is like a hand. Everybody knows. We know that story. It's a good story. All right, Tony, any update on the Toothpick Man?
By the way, if anybody wants to buy any of your new book or DVDs or CDs, if you look at the bottom of the screen, it says store JeanneRobertson.com. That's where you can purchase them. So make sure you do that.
That's good. Okay, so camera is on. All right, now this is quite interesting to me because Tara, I have been asked many times. People will say, what's the difference, Jeannie, in speaking at conventions for so many years and then starting to do theater shows? My answer always is they're in the same family, but they are cousins, sometimes very distant cousins. Now we're going to add a third element to all this, and that's the comedy club route.
Yes.
And that's what you did.
I did. I had moved to Charlotte from New York, and I was looking for something to do, an outlet, and I just Googled things to do in Charlotte and found a comedy class. And I was like, that sounds like fun, pretty funny. People said I'm funny. So I took this 6 week, I think 7 weeks, so 6 weeks of classes, and the seventh week is graduation, comedy class at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte, and then started performing in comedy clubs across the country. And comedy clubs are definitely a different ball game than theaters,
Don't you stay in like the Ritz Hotel and the Marriott?
No, you don't. You don't at all. I have stayed in hotels without hallways. So it's just like when you're in a motel and you got to push the chair up against the door. So you're like, yeah, I don't want anybody in here. It's not as glamorous as it looks, folks, but you pay your dues and you come up through the comedy club ranks. And I always like to say it's character building. If nothing else, it's character building. But I'll tell you what's awesome about winning the competition and getting to perform with you in Dallas at the Windspear Opera House, which was amazing. And for the folks out there who are watching, who were at that show, thank you for your kindness to me. You and Al, your manager, were so unbelievably kind and gracious and warm to me and my best friend Raquel, who I took. And Al said to me, before the show, he said, in a theater, laughter takes a long time to travel. So, build some space between your punchlines. I, coming out of the comedy club background, I just wanted to make sure I stayed within my time. I didn't go over because, when you're performing with the headliner, you don't want to, go over your time. So I was just on the time. He said, don't worry about it. Just take your time because comedy travels. So we got to that theater and boy, did it travel. I was like, they were laughing. I was like, this is nice. I've never had this before.
I'm going to take over because the winner of the contest could look at my calendar and decide and select.
Mm-hmm.
And the first winner was from Colorado, and I had shows coming up in Denver and Colorado Springs. That was a natural.
Mm-hmm.
And then Debbie Childers, the first one was Karen Ruth White. Then Debbie Childers was from Leeds, Alabama, but lived down in Georgia. And she looked and saw that I had a show going up in a huge theater in Athens, Georgia, home of the Dogs. By the way, I have on a red and black because of the Auburn, Georgia game last week. I just don't want to hear any more about it. I've worn your school colors. Woof, woof, woof. Anyways, what are you going to say, Patrick? You picked up the microphone.
Looks like you lost a bet.
I lost a bet. So then when you won,
mm-hmm.
I said, unfortunately, I have just had a show at the Night Theater in Charlotte,
mm-hmm.
and we usually go back every other year or something like that. And but look at the schedule, and lots of places, Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
There were just Columbia, South
all
Carolina,
around the Carolinas.
all around the Carolinas. And she said, I think I'll go to Dallas. And I said, Dallas, bigger airline ticket, Dallas, and your friends coming too.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You were like, do you know anyone in Dallas?
Do you have relatives in Dallas? No. Do you know? You said to me, I don't know a soul in Dallas. So this just set it up. And then I said, but why? And you said, everything I've ever seen about Texas and Dallas, they just seem like fun people. That's what you said. So Patrick and Tara and I were kibitzing a while ago among ourselves in the kitchen about the bad introduction that you get sometime. They'll say, our president of so many years has passed away and not able to come now and make you laugh, so and so. But I'm going to pat myself on the back because when we got there, I said, now they're 1,800. We've sold this out. 1,800 people are here. And what's the biggest crowd? I'll never forget this. What's the biggest crowd you've spoken to, Tara? And you said, about 300. I said, oh, no.
Yeah.
And that's why Al and we were all saying, you got to slow down.
Yeah.
Let the laughter get up to the bow. We're giving you all these tips, which we should have known better than to do. But when I went out on the stage, this is the easiest introduction because your introducer can kill you. I mean, they really can. But I've always thought if you're supposed to introduce somebody, take a little time and do it right. but this just fell in my lap, and I've been so proud. So I'm bragging because I went out and told the audience. I did my own warm up.
Oh, you did well.
About 30, 35
you
minutes.
You did.
Then I stopped and told them about the contest and that we had a guest tonight, told them who it was. And then I said, out of all the places she could have chosen, she chose Dallas. Well, they erupted.
That was it.
I mean, they went.
They loved it.
You could have just walked out with a bag over your head.
Yeah.
But then when they quieted down, I asked her why. And she said, I don't know a soul in Dallas, but the people there just seem so friendly. Well, at that point, I'm telling you, you could have walked on one side of the stage, waved and pivoted and then walked off, and you would have gotten a standing ovation.
Thank you, Dallas. Yeah.
So tell them about it. It was quite exciting.
It was amazing. I'm going to go back a little bit because I have to give kudos to a colleague of mine. Her name is Sherry Deese, and she was the first person who told me about the competition when I entered it the first time in year 2. Yes. And she said, I think you should enter this. And I didn't have any expectation. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know what I was getting into. She told me to do it. It seemed like a good idea, and I did it. And so I kept getting these emails like, you made it to the next round. And again, I'm really not putting a lot of stock into this. And then I was a super finalist in year 2, and it said, you're going to get a call with Jeanne. And I said, oh, this is real. Like, this is a thing. And so you called, you said, this is Jeanne. And I said, for real? And then you said, girl, you funny, but you talk fast. I remember that.
New York.
New York. And so then, when I won the competition and picked Dallas, and again, you were so kind and gracious. And I didn't know how it was going to work because, you were going to do some time and then I was going to come up and then you were going to come back. And the only thing I kept remembering is when she gets off the stage, they're going to be like, who's this girl? We don't know her. We don't want anything to do. But when you introduced me, I was like sitting off in the wings. And I was like, that is wonderful. So I could have came out and fell on my face in Dallas. And I'm like, but look how she fell. She's so awesome. She's so amazing. And she fell in Dallas. And so it was the most amazing experience. And I will say this, to your audience, and I know they love you, but what you see with you is what you get, because you are the most kind and generous and welcoming person I've ever met. And that whole Dallas experience, I remember hugging you. I know I'm angling for the chocolate. But what was so awesome, I remember hugging you at the end of it, saying, I don't want this to end because it was amazing. But I've heard him talking fast now. I feel it. I heard it said one time, if you want to be a headliner, watch what headliners do. So I was watching you during that whole experience and watching how you treat people. And you always meet with the ushers before the show, and you have meet and greets with people before. And it was so funny because you invited me along for all of it. And at the meet and greet before, and I'm with you, and the people are like this, whatever. Who, Jeanne? Like, who's that girl? Well, no. And so I was like, okay, I understand. And then after the show, people are like, oh, that's the girl who wanted to come to Dallas, and they wanted to take pictures, and it was so fun. So thank you so much for the experience. It was amazing. It was the best. Dallas, I love you. Yeah.
Because I wanted to make sure that she felt at home and all that. I said, now there's one thing that comedians do. They all do it. It's the stamp of I came through the comedy club.
Yeah.
Wow. They walk out and they'll say, hello, Chicago. Hello, Portland. It's just the kind of way.
Yeah.
So I said, you might not want to do that. And he said, thank you so much. You walked right in and said, hello, Dallas.
I was so excited. There were more than 300 people there. I didn't know what to do. But it was an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful for it.
Let's see if we got some questions for some people.
Okay, let's do it.
I know they sent some for you, just you. Okay, that's not one of them.
Yeah, they want to talk to you. No, not that one.
Well, pardon?
On here, someone just asked, how did she pick comedy, and who were her inspirations in comedy?
All right, and another question to lead into that is,
and
you just said you moved from. I must have. Has it been on since do we have to start over?
No.
Hi, I'm Jeanne Robertson.
Your niece said Jeannie's mic's not working.
Oh.
So I must have accidentally clicked it
Niece
off.
Jeanne?
Yes.
Hey, Jeanne. Okay, so what two professionals out here can't get our microphones on. But she glossed over something because she said, I was in Brooklyn and I moved to Charlotte.
Yes.
Let me point out what I found out last night. She did not have a job in Charlotte. She did not know a person in Charlotte. She did not have anywhere to live in Charlotte till she started trying to investigate. And then somebody sent a letter to the owner that said what?
That I will always make sure she has an income. I was looking at this apartment community. Well, now it seems like I have a habit of going places I don't know people.
I was
Dallas, Charlotte.
Yeah.
I was thinking of moving to Charlotte, and I grabbed two of my best friends and said I want to go visit Charlotte. And
but you didn't have a job.
Didn't have a job or anything. I was doing PR. I knew I could do freelance PR from anywhere. I made the mistake of coming to Charlotte in February when they have ice storms. I didn't know that.
Right.
And moved. And then there was an apartment community I was looking at, and a woman who had worked with told them I will always make sure she has income to pay her rent. And they gave me the apartment based on a word. I don't think that can happen now.
You were in the publishing business in New York.
I was in I worked in publishing in New York at HarperCollins and Penguin. And then I was doing freelance PR for a publishing company, a small independent publishing company, and then wanted to move to Charlotte. I was going to move to either Charlotte or Raleigh. And there's the running, because I do PR for a living, and there's the running joke goes, if you ever want to tell God a joke, tell him about your future plans.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do sports PR. So I was like, Charlotte has more of the pro sports team. I have not done sports PR in Charlotte. And it's been an amazing experience. I moved in 2003, and Charlotte has become a really great second home for me. I will always be a New Yorker, and especially when I say things like talking and coffee and stuff like that, you hear New York. You're learning, But now when I go back to New York from Charlotte for a visit, and they hand me some iced tea and it's not sweet, and I'm like, the horror. I don't sweeten my own tea anymore.
How do they get the sugar out of this tea?
Exactly. How does this work even?
Well, I just think it's gutsy then just to say, well, I think I'll try stand up. And so because we were laughing last night, when you're doing comedy in front of all comedians, they are
just the worst.
They like you, but they're sort of waiting for their turn.
Yeah.
And or maybe writing down what you said if it was funny. Is that a problem in comedy? Like it might be sometime in professional speaking. If you write some material and do it, do people take your material?
I haven't seen that. People sometimes have. Thankfully, I have not had that happen to me. People have jokes that can be close to what you do, and it can toe a line a little bit. And the good thing about being in a certain community, all of us comedians are pretty familiar with each other's material. So, that joke. So if I'm watching someone and they do a joke that's similar to another comedian, I'll kind of pull them aside and say, so-and-so does a joke similar. And normally people will just back off it a little bit or just find a different approach. So I don't find it so much. And then, like you say, open mics are a necessary evil because you have to do them to work out material. But you're in a room full of other comedians who are just like you said, focused on their own stuff and they're not really paying attention to you.
Let me tell you the difference, because when Left Brain and I moved back to Burlington, North Carolina area, Alamance County, I had grown up in Graham, 2 miles. And so what I did was I was working on material. I did not do an open mic. I've never done an open mic. That would terrify me. But I went to all the senior citizens groups at the churches. These were groups that didn't have money to pay. They weren't going to book me.
Yeah.
You had to go and do this. And I would go saying to them, I'm going to try out material. And I'm going to tell you now that I am a senior citizen, I understand this. But if you tell something and they don't think it's funny, they'll say, that's not ready yet, Jeannie. You need to work on that. Well, that third one was good. So I would stop at the end with all my list and say, tell me what you thought about these. And boy, will they tell you.
Yeah.
So that's not open mic, but
that's brutal, though.
That's brutal.
Senior citizens and kids.
I know.
Kids are very honest with you, too.
Kids will get you for sure.
Yeah.
Let's find some of these, because people sent questions, and I'm wondering if they got put in the wrong box or wherever. Okay, Betsy Clark. Jeannie and Tara, your lives are so adventurous.
Oh, Betsy. I have no idea.
That goes with the one that says, do you wash your own windows? No. Has it always been that way for both of you? What do you do if you find yourself at loose ends or does that ever happen?
Life is a big loose end. You know, one of the things I love about comedy, I'll say, is what it brings to people. The fact that you can think about something, create it, perform it, and make someone laugh is such an amazing gift. And I am grateful that I get to do this. So, do I have tough times and things go wrong? Of course I do. But I get to tell jokes on stages across the country. I get to go to the Windspear Opera House with Jeanne Robertson.
Wow.
My life does not suck. I'm okay. I'm doing okay.
Well, I think my friends will tell you that I'm probably a little bit obsessive, but my hobby is collecting humor, and then my job is delivering the humor. So to be at loose ends, would you say, Tony, I'm at loose ends, or I always have something I need to be doing? I get up with a list. No, that's just, and I know that, and I know I probably should not do that so much. But if people say, "Well, you're home Wednesday," and I'm thinking, "Oh no, I've got Wednesday planned. Don't call on Wednesday. I've got it completely planned." So, adventurous or not, here we go. Okay. Have you ever had a show? Oh, this is to me in Nanaimo, British Columbia. If so, what was their reaction to "Don't Bungee Jump Naked" story? I've never spoken in Nanaimo, but we put up a story on YouTube. Any word on the Toothpick Man? 99999. Okay, wow. Right now the Toothpick Man story on YouTube is at 999,999. So we need one more view to get 1 million views. Well, Tony, hit it.
I'm hitting it, but
it takes a while. Well, then I'm announcing that the Toothpick Man has hit 1 million hits.
Giving us a hard time.
Yeah. Wonder what's wrong. Can you turn it up any?
Oh, yeah, it's on.
Okay. Well, so we put up the grocery store story, and
1 million.
It's at 1 million. Yay! Yay! And the one I've already told Tony, I whispered to her, I think the next one that's going to hit 2 million is going to be the story about you. And of course, Tony said, "Well, it better hurry up. My birthday."
People would look at it.
Okay, look at it one more time. So, so we put up the story, "Don't Send a Man to the Grocery Store," and
it's a classic.
It's really done well, and we're getting ready to tape it over and do the longer version. But then Tony, we put it up, and then Tony said, "You need to put up another one. Put up Don't Bungee Jump Naked." And I said, "Tony, we're doing really well with this grocery store thing. I don't want to mess it all up." She said, "You need to put it up." So we did. And then, I don't know, a week or two later, Tony came in hustling with a little piece of paper in her hand. I could see some writing on it. She said, "I told you don't put up that bungee jumping story. Look, they have called from Nanaimo, British Columbia, and they want to talk to you."
Oh.
And she said, "Now I'm out of here. I didn't have a thing to do with this." And she puts the number down and walks out. And then I stood there and I thought, now wait a minute. A bungee jumping place that has naked bungee jumping, they got to have a sense of humor. And the lady who called was named Hazel Meredith. So I called up there and I said to the man that answered the phone, I said, "This is Jeanne Robertson, and y'all called me about my clip." And he started laughing. He said, "Let me get Hazel." And she came back. She said, "Oh, Jeannie, we think this is the funniest thing. May we share it on every one of our websites all across Canada?" And I remember I said, "Oh, I don't think I want all that free publicity." Sure. So mentioning publicity. So you started with the clubs and got known, and then they started naming you the Queen of Comedy in Charlotte.
Well, comedian, it's so funny when a friend of mine who's a fellow comedian, he brought me up. I was doing a show and he brought me up. They called me the godmother of the Charlotte comedy scene. I thought that
at
was
your age.
I know, right? I was like, that sounds so awesome. So I think that's pretty nice that people think of me in that way. I don't call myself anything because I just think that's weird. Just like, "I'm the this." I'm like, "You're not." No,
but may I say it?
You can say it.
Okay.
But you can say it, but no. But I'm just honestly, it's doing clean comedy is just such a fun thing to do, and a lot of times people give clean comedians and humorists a bad rap and don't think it's as funny as stuff that's blue. And nothing could be further from the truth. I love that I get to do shows where parents can bring their kids and they can all laugh at the same type of humor. And a lot of people can't say that. I remember doing a show once. This little girl, she had to be about 6. And she looked at me. She goes, "You were funny." I said, "You thought so?" She goes, "Yeah, you were funny." I'm killing it with the 6-year-old. So it's like, my day is made, so it's good.
Well, it works for me. It's
there
always worked for me.
You've done okay.
But how many people come up and tell you, like they tell me that I'll say I'm a humorist? Maybe be on an airplane somewhere and said, I said family humor that's appropriate for everybody. And they'll say, it can't be real funny if it's not blue. And I said, you just, there's plenty of people out there that are doing humor that's not blue.
It's
humor.
amazing. You know what else? I don't know if you get this, but people have said to me a lot, clean comedy is so hard. And I said, why? I said, I don't spend my daily life using profanity. So I speak to you. I say my comedy is the way I speak to people. So it's not hard for me. So some people think it's really hard. Another thing I do when we could go in comedy clubs, I host a clean comedy brunch series at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. And it's super duper family friendly.
Okay, now a clean comedy brunch
show. Yeah, series. It's a series of shows. And I do it like on a Sunday afternoon after people have gone to church and had their naps, and we come out. I do it quarterly, and it's a really fun show. And like I said, because parents don't need a babysitter. And I tell the comedians who I book for the shows, if you can't tell your joke to your mama or your pastor, you can't tell it at my show. And so I get comedians who come on and people have a blast. And in addition to giving a spotlight to comedians who I know who work clean, I also like to give a platform to people who want to try to work clean, because I think it's so important for all people doing comedy to have clean material in their arsenal, because you never know when you'll need it. So it's been a really great platform. And the first time I did it, I remember my coworker brought his daughter. She had to be about 8, and she wanted to be any place else other than there. Yeah. She was so upset, and I'm just hugging everyone, and she just didn't want to be bothered. And then after the show, she comes up to me. She goes, "That was amazing." And I said, "You had fun?" She goes, "I had so much fun." So she is my why. You know what I mean? I think about her a lot, and I think about how we need now more than ever humor that everybody can enjoy. And so I'm glad I get to do that. You. Yeah.
Now you're 51. You
yes,
told
ma'am.
And I'm proud of that. We know that. So people will say they're watching this today, and they're saying, "I think I can do this.
You can.
I really think I can do this." I know what I would say. What would you say?
I would say go for it. I've been doing comedy, as you said, I'm 51. I've been doing comedy for 6 years now. So not that long ago. And I wanted to do it. I tried it. It's been working out. I would say go for it, but manage your expectations. Don't think that you're going to start doing comedy and when
there may be a COVID year.
In a COVID year, right now it's actually a very interesting time we're in with comedy shows, and they're slowly coming back, but a lot of things have gone virtual and socially distanced. And so if you thought it was tough before, it's really interesting now. But go for it. I mean, what do you have to lose? I will say surround yourself with people who will encourage you, but will also tell you the truth, because comedy is not for everyone, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And but I
don't think I could work comedy club.
I think you could.
I just don't think I could.
Yeah, I think you would
started in another area.
Well, you know what you do? Let's do this. You work a comedy club, and I'll come and introduce you the way you introduced me in Dallas. I was like, she's and then there you go, and then you can't fail.
Well, and what you said about your brunch, it may be for some senior citizens groups at a church or somewhere. There may be, if you only had 5 or 6 people who'd like to give it a try, have a program 1 month and let them get up and give it a try. Write their own material.
Well, I'll tell you what's funny about something like that. That can work, and
it can flop.
Yeah. I did a show in golly, I'm forgetting, somewhere in South Carolina. And this was a very interesting show. So I was closing out the show, and right before I got ready to close it up, the host says, hey, this is Mr. So-and-so, and his 70th birthday is coming up. And he just thought he wanted to try some comedy. So she let him try some comedy about a good 20 minutes before I was going to go close out the show. So that was interesting, trying to get that crowd back. So
I've had them say my granddaughter is really funny too.
Okay.
And then maybe she got up one time and she did somebody's routine. She got it right off of somewhere. And I said, oh, she is. She's going to be, because.
Did you say bless her heart?
No, I didn't. More people come up to me after shows and say, Jeannie, you should use the phrase bless her heart. Well, once in a while I might say it, but so many women in speaking have a routine on bless her heart that I don't want to do it. I steer away from it on purpose. Let's give more prizes. Let's give prizes. What? You got a question?
Say hello to your sister. She's watching from Atlanta.
Catherine? She was on a few weeks ago. Oh, we're over there now. See how we jump around. We started with one cell phone. So, I love her. She knows that.
People who saw her on are saying hey to her.
Good. Okay, what?
I just wanted to say one thing. You were talking about people coming up to you saying, I think I can do that.
Yep.
I would get a lot of calls from fraternity brothers or friends from college and said, man, I think I can be a speaker too. And I say, you just gave a good wedding toast, didn't you?
You went over real well down at the game.
And then there's a difference between living room humor and then going out on a stage somewhere. So it's like, oh, I killed it with my friends in the living room. I think I can get on a comedy club stage now.
Yeah, but it's so rewarding when they laugh.
It is so rewarding.
It's wonderful. All right, and what, you got another question? Okay, let's draw. I'm going to let y'all draw one out of here. Mm-hmm. This is a prize winner. We're up to all these bags. Okay, this is a fat one. I cut them with a machine, so it doesn't always. Okay. Barbara Rawson, Rawson. Jeannie, enjoy all your shows and performances. Barbara Rawson. Doesn't say where she's from. And she has her choice of gifts, and you choose that one.
Yep, that's the first.
Draw another one, Tara.
Draw another one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You try to get to the bottom of the bag.
Okay.
Those people think they have no hope. You have hope. You have hope.
People
at the bottom of the bag. And the last shall be first. Okay, let's see. If I can open it. There we go. All right, let's see who's coming home with a gift. That would be Lori Katzer-Bremer. And it says, hello. So, hello, Lori Katzer-Bremer.
Well, we tell everybody to write. If you ask a question, your name goes into the pot. But we have people who just say their name and say hello, and that goes into the pot too. So that's fine with me.
Do you have the website, the email for them to tell me so I know where to send their book?
Jeannie at JeannieRobertson.com.
Well, we do
Tony. Okay, Tony is Toni, and my name doesn't have an I. It's very confusing to people because they still go ahead like I dream of Jeannie. But you mentioned the opportunities that are out there. I have good news. Good news. I see a light at the end of the tunnel. See, when she won, we are lucky that you chose Dallas because we did Dallas, and then we went on to Crockett, Texas. Oh, yeah. The next weekend, I did Houston. Norma Rose went with me, and the Nashville people. Houston and Crockett, Texas, and when we visited in Snook, Texas. When we came home, that was it.
Wow.
The COVID had hit. So if you hadn't chosen Dallas, it could be that if you were waiting for something later in the year, it wouldn't have happened. But that said, and my fingers crossed, next Saturday when the show is over, I'm going down to Newberry, South Carolina. And every state is looser or tighter or whatever, but South Carolina, you can have so many hundred people into a theater. Mm-hmm. And there is a theater in Newberry that I'll be doing 4 shows. Sunday afternoon at 3, Monday afternoon at 3, Tuesday night at 8, Wednesday night at 8. So there's a possibility, but they're only selling tickets for about 200 people. And I think a couple of the shows are sold out. Some people with tickets may be turning because people are apprehensive, but the theater goes up like 3 levels, and the 4th level, it's an old theater that the train used to come and bring in vaudeville acts, and it's just beautiful. I have had shows there twice before. And so we're doing the 4 shows, and then the people will spread out in all these levels, and they won't keep on their mask. There will be, I hate this, no meet and greet before or after the shows. That's one of the reasons the theater said we just can't risk that. Nor will they sell merchandise. So I hate that. But I like to talk to people before and after the shows. But this is the way we're going to start. And then on what day is it in Sumter? Sumter's November 14th. I'm in Sumter, South Carolina on a Saturday night. And the 15th on Sunday afternoon. Same deal. About 200 tickets, and they spread people out. But you find out this information on JeanneRobertson.com, and then you just go to shows open to the public, and it'll tell you almost all the other shows have been switched. Let me tell you about something else, because one of you had written and suggested this, and we'd already been working on it. On January 3rd, December 3rd. Thank you, Tony. What would I do? I haven't said throw up again instead of throw back, have I? What'd you say? Okay. Well, this is you have heard it. You're going to hear it here first. We're trying something a little different on the 3rd of December in Charleston. There will be about 250 tickets sold to a theater. In a theater, and again, I think it seats 1,000 or something, but they spread people all around and wear their mask if you want to. And I'll do a show live, but that show will be broadcast streaming around the world. And people buy tickets. It reminds me of a boxing match, pay for view, and you can watch the match, and you can watch the match for 48 hours if you want to just sit there, and then it cuts off. We're trying this. Now, the difference is here with this, you get to know people a lot better. You get their questions. I read everything that anybody writes when it's all over. That'll be a regular show. When I tape a new show, all the stories are new. This show is reaching people all around that had never heard of me until this spring. And so there will be some older stories, and that's where we're going to retape the grocery store and make the longer version. But there'll be more. But if you want early access to all of that, you just go to the same place, JeanneRobertson.com. And from there, you sign up. And then when the tickets are available, you will be notified. So no money is put down for anything. So I don't know. You think that'll work?
I think it will.
It'll be different.
You've been doing pretty well.
Well, we've seen people on TV doing things like this, but they heard no laughter. See, like you and I are laughing at each other, but nobody else. We don't know whether but look at all these people that are writing.
Are you laughing?
Are you laughing?
See. Are we funny? Is it happening? Is it working? Is this thing on?
Tony, are you finding any questions? If not, I'm going back to the bucket.
Someone asked if you've ever been to Jonesboro for the international storytelling.
4 times, 3 times?
Yeah, many times.
Yes. I've usually gone in on Thursday night and
they said what state, Charleston? There is more than one.
I'm sorry, South Carolina. Notice that all 3 of those events are in South Carolina. They are a little bit looser down there.
Can I say something real quick, Jeanne?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are asking how to find Tara on social media.
Oh, that's great.
So if you go to YouTube, just put in Tara Brown Comedy, or Facebook as well. Tara Brown Comedy.
Please and thank you.
And make sure you subscribe. That way you can get all the latest information.
And I'm going to fuss at you. You need more YouTube clips.
I do
out
need.
there.
Okay, I'm going to put some YouTube clips up. I don't want people to get freaked out by the word subscribe. You don't have to pay anything.
No.
Just subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll put some more clips. I'm going to put more clips up. I have a lot of fun, and you'll get to know more about me. I have clips up of my comedy. I'll do some things. Let's get to know each other. So come on and follow me on social media. You're going to get ready
to know another one of our team here right now.
Uh-oh.
Enter Norma Rose.
Miss Norma Ray.
Yeah.
Hey.
Come and meet Tara.
Norma
Don't
Rose,
trip.
Norma Rose.
Come and have a seat, Norma Rose. I knew.
Hi. Hi. But let me tell you what's funny about her. When she told me we were doing this, she said, You don't have to dress up. I said, I've seen Miss Norma on that show. Miss Norma dresses up.
Miss Norma, and you've heard a lot of things about it. It's not true.
Oh, no. I've heard good things about you, though. That's true, right?
They're all
The
true.
oldest friend and all that.
Yeah.
I know. But anyway.
Well, I'm glad you stopped by. How are
You got to
you?
be good at something, haven't you? You know.
You do. You do. You got it going on, Miss Norma.
I'm going. Y'all got it going on. And I've been listening, and I'm thinking the last thing they need is another helper.
But you said you wanted to meet her.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so
glad.
glad.
Yes. I hate, that's the thing I hate the most about this. I miss hugging people.
But I
There
missed
you go.
my questions with Tara.
I'm sorry, people, but I didn't.
No, you're fine.
Maybe I was talking loud like
No.
a teacher.
But see, I
Is
talk
that
loud like a
microphone on?
videographer.
We got 3 microphones.
It says,
Am I on?
But it's not
But
on, is it?
one of the questions that we've gotten repeatedly, and one lady, I can't remember your name, I felt so shit. I want to know why you don't y'all get those mics ready and use a lapel mic and not quit fooling around. And I wrote back and said, I prefer handheld. Everybody's
Yeah.
different. And so she said, I want you to tell us why.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because I use a lot of physical comedy.
Mhm.
I would like to think Don Knotts or Lucille Ball, they move around, do things, and they put a little lapel mic right here, and I don't want the one around here. And if I look up to do something, sound goes down a little bit, just a little bit, or moving all around. And I bring men to the stage sometime and do a little mock pageant.
Mm.
And I ask them questions, and I have learned the hard way. I do not want them leaning into my chest
Yes.
to answer. I like to take the microphone and go to the man
That becomes a
instead of
different
having the
show.
man
Yeah.
say, well, I can answer that question right there. Just one of the things. I got some questions in here, and somehow I'm just
Can I
looking.
go back to something real quick
Yeah.
with the YouTube channel? What I want to make sure that people know. When I was going to Dallas for the contest, a filmmaker friend of mine said something, at the time I didn't know, but that it would be valuable. But she said you should document your experience by video. And so what I did from the time I left Charlotte to the time I was in Dallas and came back, I put a lot of videos up about the experience, and all of those are on the YouTube channel. So if you subscribe to Tara Brown Comedy on YouTube, you'll see all of that. And it was really fun.
And
a lot
was
of friends
Rochelle helping you with that?
Raquel was, yeah, she was
Raquel.
helping me with that, and she was actually really good.
Listen,
also.
what I remember is
Yeah.
we were on that stage, and you were looking out, and that place was empty, and you said, Raquel, are you getting this?
Yeah.
Everything we did, are you getting this?
She was so great. She was the historian for that trip, and she documented everything. So it was, and a lot of people said, thanks for taking me on that journey. So you'll see all of those clips up on YouTube.
I'm going to put all of these back in the bucket because these are questions. Yes,
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
Are you? Wait, she's going to tell you put a scarf.
Teach you a lot about Southern, right?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And I'm going to say I got a lot to learn about your
Northerners?
accent.
Yes.
But I don't think I can learn. It's too old.
You don't leave. It's kind of similar to a
But I
Southern
can teach
accent. You
You're
don't.
young, you can learn.
Yeah, but don't you think with the Southern accent, you never lose it, right? And then I think with Northern accents, you don't really lose it. We were saying earlier, you hear more with me when I say things like coffee and talking and stuff like
I
that.
don't know, but
Yeah.
I was born like this.
That's what I'm saying. I was
Coffee.
born like this. I've never.
Is it
it's a-
this? Coffee?
Coffee. It's coffee. It's
New
talking.
Jersey?
New Jersey. Yes. Yes.
Am I
exactly.
doing too much?
No, you're fine. You're good. My wonderful. And
What's the question?
we spoke about Jared, who I adore, who's helping to manage me with things. He's a New Yorker, and he says talking. And when he says talking, I feel like I'm home. So
You understand? This accent's like gold mine.
yeah.
I used to be in a buffet line in a hotel, and people would recognize my height because I was
Okay.
6'2" and I had on heels. Now they turn around because I'm on the radio. I'm on Neil Steele every week.
Yeah.
I'm on all these shows. And they'll say, I recognize your accent.
Oh,
That's
nice.
not the side. Did you have a question for Tara?
Someone wanted to know on here, Linda Hodgkins asked, has Tara always known she was funny, even as a child?
I didn't, but I come from a long line of funny people. My mother is really funny. My grandfather, rest his soul, was hilarious. So I think some of it trickled down a little bit. So I didn't know, like everyone says to me, it's amazing. You're living your dream of doing comedy. It's like, not really. I just kind of fell into it a little bit, but no. And I'm thankful that it's worked out and no one's thrown stuff at me.
All right,
yet,
let me
so.
pose the question like this. If your elementary and junior high school friends could see you on stage with a microphone making people laugh, would they be surprised?
Probably not. You know what they would be surprised at? That people call me Tara, because growing up, people would say Tara. They would put the hard A on my name. So when they say, who's Tara? That's what they would be more surprised at.
Last night, there were a whole group of people and they come up and they said, what did you say your name was? You said, Tara, like Gone with the Wind. They fell out.
That's what I tell people. They say, oh, okay, I get it.
Okay, any more, Tony? I'm
So glad you came.
Someone else put them in the bucket.
The accent, we have, they talk a lot about that.
The accent?
Yeah, and that we have a one of your fans, Joanne Milano. Yeah, I think Joanne lives in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
She said you do not have an accent.
You know what? It will. Let me get mad enough, and you'll hear it. If I get mad enough, it comes out. You know. But I'm in the Carolinas now. When in Rome.
Well, that's. Have you had people say to you? Because I will have someone come up in somewhere like Portland, Oregon, is the first time it happened, and the woman said, "Hearing you is like getting a little booster shot. I'm sliding back into it." You know, but do you find when you are in Charlotte, you have a little more of an accent, maybe? But when you get back to New York.
When I get back, what's funny is one time I was in, I don't think I have an accent either way, but other people hear it in me. But when I went to New York once and I was sitting in a pizza parlor and I heard, yeah, because you told me, and I was like, my people, I'm home. I use people. And then I was like, I felt so at home.
Norma Rose, do you know Ginger Brown?
Yes, I know Ginger. She
said,
was a great basketball player at Western.
Oh, I'm
Can
sorry.
you hear me? Ginger,
Yeah.
hello, I love you.
She said one of my favorite high school teachers. I hear that all the
I
time.
love you, Ginger.
Aww.
She must have been one of them that passed. That finally got a good grade. Okay, and I'm just looking. Oh, you thought she died? No.
I thought that's oh, she could Ginger Brown.
But I had all these. I'm just wondering if somebody in the house put them in. I had a stack of the questions for you, and I'm gonna just keep looking right here until I circled your name, Tara. Let me go back here and listen.
They're probably like, we want Jeannie.
No, they won't.
Jeannie show. We have all the questions for Jeannie.
Okay. What color was your Miss North Carolina dress?
No.
That's not.
You don't know.
Well, I mean, this is discouraging to
Aw.
me because I had them all out in sacks, and I said, "Now make sure that this
There you
gets
go.
in the bucket because." Okay, let's see about this. Okay, Tara,
Here we go.
Cheryl Finch, lots of folks. Will Ferrell movies make me laugh more than anything?
I love Will Ferrell. I think she had asked a question on Facebook, and I had answered a couple of ones that I could. She was asking, I think, who makes me laugh. I love Will Ferrell movies. And actually, I was telling Jeannie the story yesterday. When I first moved to Charlotte, I didn't know a soul. And I used to go to the movies every Friday by myself. And one of the movies I went to see was the movie Elf, which is so iconic and is set in New York. And I just started crying in the movie theater because I was so homesick and I missed New York. And the lady came up to me. She was like, you okay? I said, I just moved here and I don't know anybody. And I just started crying. And so I feel like after I had my Elf moment, it all started coming together for me in Charlotte. So yes, Will Ferrell movies have a special place in my heart because they make me laugh. And I guess they make me cry sometimes too.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Now, see if she had been, Tony, you have another one. She'd been a real true Southerner. She said, come and let me get you some tea somewhere.
She could have got me tea. She didn't do that. She did not do that.
Someone wants to know if Tara also likes to sing.
No, ma'am, I'm guessing. Is that a ma'am? No, ma'am. That's what I picked up in the Carolinas, ma'am and sir. Yes.
Fabulous guest. Can't wait. Speaking of singing, Patrick, what time is it?
Oh,
5 minutes left.
Yes.
Time for a song.
No, not the last 5 minutes left in the show.
Yes.
We missed you singing. I just went right by you. I'm sorry. You want to get your guitar out and sing? No. Oh, sure. You did like that. we can go 5 minutes over. Get that sign out, because I know for a fact that someone is tuning in today to hear you sing for a possible something. Okay, so don't mess it up. Okay, this is it. Cheryl Finch, Tara Brown, who makes you laugh? Thanks for the laughter you've given me. And then we'll give some more prizes. While he's doing that, pull a prize.
Okay.
I'm surprised Norma didn't come in here and start tying things around your neck, throwing them
I know
all.
my place.
All right.
Here's a prize, everybody.
Our next prize winner is Marcia Turner, who says, "Hi, Jeannie. Looking forward to visiting with you Saturday, sweet lady." Marcia's from Mississippi.
Mississippi. Now there's an accent.
Mississippi.
But I went to Auburn and they said I had more of an accent than they did.
Really?
And we have a little mountain twang in it.
Oh, okay.
So since we've been talking about comedy,
yes,
theater work, and speeches, tell why you went from speaking in songwriting and doing all the things you do and maybe into comedy sometime. You all right?
Just stand up.
Huh?
You would just stand up and do it?
You can have
No,
mine.
here, take my chair.
You can have mine. What about?
No, I'm right here with the stand, right here. Okay, I'll do that. Y'all hang with us. We're giving them prizes. I'm sorry that I went over time.
I think you're sitting.
Here you go, right here. You fix it. Which is the camera? Okay. Oh, Lord.
Okay, well, I've been enjoying listening to Tara's story because it's very similar to what I did in Nashville with the open mics and starting off that way. And that's why one reason I don't think that I could do the comedy, because I don't know if I have the stamina for an open mic again.
Yeah, I hear you.
But anyway, I wrote this song because I moved to Nashville to become the next Garth Brooks, and I left Nashville wanting to be the next Ray Stevens. So, I wrote this song.
They say that mic's not on.
Okay, can y'all hear me now? Turn the mic off. So I was saying that I moved to Nashville to become the next Garth Brooks, but I left wanting to be the next Ray Stevens, and so I wrote this song. It's on.
Just to remind you. Got it.
Thank you. My production manager. I used to want to be a Nashville star, making women swoon with my guitar. Can y'all hear me?
Is it easier for you to get me?
Let's do that. Let's just do that. Okay, we're gonna do this again. No, that's fine. I got it. Okay. I used to want to be a Nashville star, making women swoon with my guitar. Okay, next time I do that, I want you to swoon for me.
Okay, I'm gonna swoon. Okay.
Making women swoon with my guitar.
Woo!
Excellent swooning. Just like Alan Jackson, Clint Black, and Garth Brooks, I cultivated a cowboy chic, authentic Nashville look. But Music Row never even called me by my name. My boots wore down and my songs lost all their twang. I knew if I was to make money, I'd better become funny. And I learned one final lesson as I left the Nashville game. You don't have to wear tight jeans to make it big in comedy. A funny man can let it all hang out. Jerry Clower, Cletus Judd, and Larry the Cable Guy never had to run a single lap or skip that slice of pecan pie. No skinny jeans in comedy. The crowd don't care what you're wearing while they watch. No laces in your shoes, old t-shirts, faded blues, with lots of wiggle room left in the crotch. I hear country music on my radio. I wonder how many tenors are really baritones. Just give them loose cut jeans that never seems to constrict their thighs. They'll sound just like Johnny Cash singing Walk the Line. No skinny jeans in comedy. A humorist always leaves room to grow. I don't need skin tight pants to strike a comedic stance. And I can still hit Waffle House after the show.
Yes! Yes! All right.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything? They love you and they want you to come back.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, Jeannie, thank you for everything.
Oh.
You have just been such a blessing to my life. I know you probably hate
Don't
this. I know
think
you
that's
hate
going to
this.
get. I'm
No,
not
no,
going
no.
to tell what
I'm
you
trying to
did
come
yesterday.
back, people. Wait,
No.
no, but I want you to hear this because a lot of times, you know, you pour so much out into people, you don't get it back. But you are a delight. You're wonderful. You've been such a great mentor and friend to me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for welcoming me the way that you've done. Patrick, Tony, thank you, Norma. I just was going to say Norma. I wasn't going to make a faux pas.
But now
Norma
I'm going to
Rose,
tell
thank
them.
you for coming. What I do?
So yes, I mean,
gosh,
North Carolina is built like this. You're an arm. I know Michigan is saying North Carolina is an arm. And Charlotte is like over here. And you get on I-85 and you drive straight to Burlington, North Carolina. And that's my exit. You get off. So we waited. And we waited yesterday. She said, I'm taking the afternoon off and I'm coming on up to Charlotte. I said, great. I will be waiting. And we waited. And finally about 4:00, she called and I said, where are you? And because Patrick was going to do a pop-up and then we were going to all go to dinner. She said, I'm in Asheboro. Now, if you're from North Carolina, you know you don't go through Asheboro when you're coming up 85 to Burlington. And I said, what? She said, I decided to take the scenic route in North Carolina. So I don't know when you got here, but it was great.
It took a minute. I don't love driving. And just a full disclosure, I don't love driving on the highways. And a Friday afternoon, especially, so I decided to take the scenic route, not realizing how scenic it would be.
It would be. Now, going back.
I'm taking the highway going back. I'm taking the highway. But I will say this, if the comedy thing does not work out, I can probably get a job with the North Carolina Board of Tourism because I've seen every small town from Charlotte to Burlington, and I can probably write up something for the visitors guide.
And there may be one other little reason that you at least chose North Carolina when you left New York. Your mama and your grandmama live in Chadbourne.
Yeah, they do. They're born and raised. My grandmother is not born and raised in the South. My mother is a born and bred North Carolinian. So, and so they both live in Chadbourne, North Carolina. But I love them so. Yeah.
Well, Norma, thanks for dropping
Yes,
by. Well, I told her, I said, Norma Rose will either pop in or she'll tap on the window.
That would have been funny if you tapped on the window. But I'm so glad you came. And I'm glad I got to meet you, Norma Rose. And when she said don't dress up, I said, no. I've seen Miss Norma on that show.
So, hey, everybody, we had a great time. Sorry we went a little longer than an hour, but we were having too much fun. And Patrick, we almost forgot you, and I'm glad we did not. You put all this stuff up into it. Everybody have a great weekend. And check out Tara Brown at TaraBrownComedy.com.
Yes, please.
And you get some more YouTube clips out, and we will help you make people know about them.
I appreciate that so much. And thank you, everybody, for the kindness.
See y'all. Keep laughing. Bye.
She's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.
That's what you